Hey guys, this is Carrie, and in this video, we are going to write the code to generate our very first website and about me for all of the members, or for each of the members in the club. So every one of us will have our own. So if we're going to write code to create websites, the first thing that we need is a place to write code. And you'll see that people in computer science use a whole bunch of places to write code. I have a couple of favorites. So one that I use on my computer is called Sublime Text. And I have this on my computer so I can use it when I'm on the train. So it's not actually connected to the internet, which I really like. And I write my lessons for math class here. I build websites for fun here. And I also code websites for school here. But the main place that we're going to be writing code is going to be on the internet. And it's really nice to write code that's already on the internet because then we can easily share it with each other. And it's already online, so the websites that you build will be accessible already, automatically. So to build our websites online, we're going to use a website called replit.com. And you'll have to create an account. You can create one using your Google address or email address or your school email address, whatever you prefer. But after you create the account, we're going to make our first project. So I'm going to click here. And yours might look a little different, but it shouldn't look too different. I can help you find this if you can't find this menu. And since this is our first project, we're going to create a new project. So you'll see actually that you're able to program whether it's in Replit or like. And this is like the same idea that if you opened up Microsoft Word, you can write in any language, English, Spanish, Portuguese, whatever language you like, you could write in Microsoft Word. We can write code in any language in either place. So I'm going to write code today and pretty much every day in our club in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript because these are our three languages that work together to build the internet. Structure, style, and interaction. So I'm going to call this About Me Club because I got a lot of About Me's from teaching computer science before. So then I'm going to create my REPL. And what this will do is it actually creates a group of files that together we can edit to create our website. Write our code. And it has a little window here, which is like a preview of the website itself. So before we get into that, we have a group of files. And it's pretty easy to tell that if we move this over here, each of the files reflects one of the components that we talked about in the last video. So we've got content, CSS will be style, and JS stands for JavaScript, which will be the interaction. And most of the time we'll code in all three of these languages, and then together we'll have stuff on the page, styled stuff, and interaction. But let's jump right into the first part here. So whenever we build a website, usually the first thing that I do is I work on the HTML for the site because I want to have the content on the page. I can't style it unless I have like words and stuff. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to take a look right here at the HTML. And they give you like a little setup here. So it can be a little bit confusing to navigate through the setup. But the main thing that we're going to talk about today is all the code that we want to appear on the website itself should go in between these two body tags. So right now, if I load the website, you'll see that the only thing on the website is Hello World. So to load the website, I just click this Open in New Tab button, and that will give me this website here. So I do not want to say Hello World. What I would like to do, though, is I'd like to get acquainted with some of the basic HTML tools. So these tools right here, you'll see that the website already uses. And they're not too easy to understand at first, but we can definitely talk more about these in the future. The ones that are easy to use here are going to be the ones on this page right here. So here we go. Let's look at all of these. So we're going to start with HTML headings for our About Me. So I'm going to make my first HTML element. So the way that you can make an HTML element is it looks like the element here is an H1. So I'm going to type H1 and then press tab. And that will generate a little bit of code here. These are called the opening parentheses is going to be part of the header 1. So this will be the biggest header on the page. So I'm going to say About Me. It looks like we can go from H1 all the way to H6. So let me also put an H2 below. So I'll type H2, then tab, and then I'll write all about Carrie. And then maybe I'll write an H3, and I'll say biography. And we could keep going with this, creating smaller and smaller subtitles all the way down to H6. So let me look at my web page here. So to look at my web page, I've already got it open. I can just do Command R or Control R to refresh it. And I'll see that now that I've changed the code over here, it actually changes the information that's being displayed on the site. So I usually will code like this where I've got my editor open in one window and I've got my website open in the other, and I can flip back and forth to see how each thing is looking. So if we changed this around here, you could change all about Carrie R, and then we refresh it. You'll see that it updates it to include that. So you'll see that like everything kind of works kind of the way you expect. Now, the last thing here is that these opening and closing tags, you can actually just type these in. So if something goes wrong with the shortcut with tab, you could type in H3. Oops, wow, it automatically completed that for me. Sorry, sometimes in the video. Oh, it's doing the autocomplete even if I try to type it in. All right, so it's upgraded the software here a little bit. You can have as many H1s, H2s, H3s on the page as you like. In general, these are our headers. So I'm going to create one more headers, and I'm going to call it My Interest. And now if I refresh my page, I've got a main title, a subtitle, and 2 section titles. All right, so the next thing that I'd like to add, kind of exploring down here, is a paragraph of text. So to add a paragraph of text, I'm thinking I could write a little bit for my biography. So one of the tools that's really useful in computer science and really useful in other parts of life is the ability to like kind of research these things and figure out what they mean. So to figure out how to make a paragraph, if I didn't know how to do it, I could go to this website, which I'll link you to in the notes for our club, and I could click this right here to open it in a new tab. And what this will do is it will show me an example of how to make a paragraph. So what's really empowering about this idea is that if you wanted to add another type of element to your page, let's say we don't go over in this video, like bold text, or one of the cool ones I like a lot is a button, where you can develop a clickable button, or an image, which is always really cool. You can actually go down this list and click each one of them to learn how to add it from the website. That way you're not limited by the information that we go over in these short videos. So since now I know that a paragraph should look like this, you can do a couple of things. You can copy and paste it into your code and then change the parts that are relevant. Or perhaps you would see that to build this, instead of doing H1, H2, and H3, you can type P and then tab, and it will make a paragraph like this. So I'm just going to fill in some boring text in these paragraphs, because I don't think you guys want to wait while I actually type in my text here. So about myself. So this is my first paragraph. And I'm just going to put a whole bunch of blahs because I want to spare you guys from having to watch a video where I talk about my entire life. So I'll just put blah, 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 blah. And then for my second paragraph, I'll just copy and paste this sentence a few times so it looks like a paragraph. Of course, for you guys, I think it would be more interesting to actually include information about yourselves so that other people in the club can get to know you. So let's do a refresh here. So now you can see that my web page is starting to look more complete. We've got a lot of content going on. We have an about me. We've got all about Carrie, corresponding to this, biography. And then inside of that biography, we have the first paragraph. And you'll notice that the P elements don't actually get numbers. So even though this is the first paragraph, it's not P1, it's just P. And the reason why is the one here doesn't mean it's the first header. It means it's the biggest header. This is the second biggest header. H3 and H3 mean these are the same size. With paragraphs, we only have one size. If we want to increase the size of our paragraphs, we have to go to styling, which will come up in the next video. And that's where we'll have a lot of fun, because we can change the colors, fonts, centering, text size, a lot of different things in the styling. So then the last thing I wanted to add here was a list about my interest. So to add a list about my interest, let's see if that's on the basics list. It's not on the basics. There's a couple more things that are in the basics here that you can explore, like the line break or the horizontal rule. And those are pretty important. But I want to make a list. So I'm going to scroll down. Frames, images, audio, video, links, list. Here we go. So it looks like the main two things in my list group here are an unordered list and an ordered list. So I can click on both of those to find out more information about how to build them. So here's an unordered list. And what's cool is you can actually click try it yourself on this website. Unordered list looks like it makes these bullet points. And then an ordered list, let's see. An ordered list looks like it numbers it. So I think for my interest, I'm going to go with an unordered list. So to do an unordered list, I'm going to use that copying and pasting technique. Ordered list is formed by creating a group between a UL and a closing UL tag. So I'll copy and paste that. Now, one of the things that we haven't talked about yet is it's really important to me to have organized code, because I'm the main person who reads my code, and if I don't have organized code, it's going to give me a headache to try to read through this. So I'm going to try to format mine in the same way. So what that will be is I'll use the tab key to move these LI elements over and move this UL element over so it's lined up in the same way. And what this helps me to see is I've got a start to an unordered list UL here and an end to a UL here. So that's pretty nice. I'm going to add in a couple more of my interests. So my advisory, who many of you are in my advisory, I think, thinks I'm super boring because all I do is talk about climbing and hiking. But I'm also interested in computer science. I also like playing guitar. So I'm going to create an LI, just using, sorry, I was doing that super fast, an LI, and then press tab to create another spot for my interest. And I'll put math, because I actually really enjoy math, and that's why I teach it. So now if I go back to my website here, and I press refresh, I should have some extra information here, which is I've got an unordered list with some of my favorite hobbies. If I want to do like a ranked list, like maybe my favorite movies, or my favorite musicians, or my favorite friends, I don't know, top friends, that seems mean, don't do that. Then what you could do is you could use one of these ordered lists instead. And what those will do is it will create lists that actually have numbering on them. And that could be really useful as well. So this is the basic idea with computer science and HTML. Pretty much all HTML elements look similar. They've got starting and closing tags. And all the HTML elements that you'd ever want to use, everything that's used to build the whole internet, can be found on this page here. So my challenge to you is, and I'll write this down, my challenge to you is maybe can you figure out, maybe with my help, how to add images to your page? Or how to add buttons to your page? And I'll find a couple of more good ones that are fun to work with. But you can really look through this and use whatever you like, because the whole power of programming, right, is that these tools, code, allow you to create any website that you want. And these are all the HTML tools to add any content that you like to your web page. Now, this web page looks pretty boring. In the next video, we're going to talk about styling, which will make things look a lot more like a web page.